my pastor, Bishop Austin, to the elect lady, to Vice Bishop in his absence, and to Bishop Silver. I give honor to all the ministers, deacons, saints, and friends, to every heart that's in the building on tonight. So one day, the other day I was walking around the house, and the enemy, he tried to mess with my mind. He tried to get me down. You know, sometimes the enemy will try to speak certain things to you. And I was downstairs, and I was walking around at the time. It was just me and little Victoria in the house. Everybody was gone. And out of nowhere, I just said, oh, yeah, yeah. And I didn't understand it at first, but it was joy in the oh, yeah. You know, because sometimes you have to encourage yourself, you know, with that, oh, yeah, and let it noise out, let the devil know that, hey, I'm God's. God's word is still true. You know, and after a while, I kept walking around the house, you know, and every time the devil would try to speak to me, I would interrupt him. And I go, oh, yeah, yeah. And then, after a while, I start walking around to every room. And everybody in the house, I would think a certain thought and every promise that God has promised everybody. I would go in Delicia's room. I would go in Mama's room. I said, oh, yeah, yeah. Let the devil know that, oh, yeah, yeah. His promise is still right. His promise is still true. So after a while, I got to my room. And I went there, and I was going in there to finish up a little studying. And I closed the door behind me. I said, oh, yeah, yeah. And God said, do it again. I said, okay, Lord. So I went out. And I came back in, and I closed the door. I said, oh, yeah, yeah. And I went out. He said, do it again. So I did it again. I said, oh, yeah, yeah. And after a while, I was like, Lord, what do you want me to do? He said, do it again. The last time he told me to do it again, I came in the room, and I closed the door behind me. I said, oh, yeah, yeah. He said, I want you to tell my people to go into your prayer room or wherever it is that you pray, and you close the door behind you. And when you close the door, you close it in the face of your problem. You close it in the face of everything that's going wrong in your life. And when you open it, you are entering in to seek his face. See, because when you close the door, you close it to everything outside. You got to leave all your problems on the outside. When you enter into your prayer room and you close that door, you are entering into your delivery room. Yes. And when you go into your delivery room, sometimes you weep and you cry. But it's a, oh, yeah, yeah. You weep and you cry in that delivery room sometimes. And you have to keep pushing. And you have to keep pressing to get what's on the inside. You know, sometimes it's hard, but you know at the end of the process, you're going to get something special. So when you go into your delivery room, you lay out all your problems. You lay out all your issues, everything that's going wrong. And when you leave your delivery room, when you open that door up, you feel a little bit lighter. You have let go and you have birthed something different. You have laid all your problems before the throne. You have closed the door to all the problems outside. See, everybody can't come in your delivery room. Everybody can't go into that room because something special has to happen in that room. Everybody can't be around because that baby is special. You have to close the door and leave all the problems on the outside. Lay it before the throne and put it in the master's hand. That is the writing is stand for. It says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of the strongholds. Close that prayer room door. See, after we leave that delivery room, we feel a little bit lighter. And the topic God has given me for you on tonight is border of the storm. All right. See, a lot of us been going through a while, and we don't realize what's going on, and we don't realize that we're almost at the border of the storm. Amen. One day I was riding in the car with my family, and I was riding in the car, and it was storming really, really bad. I mean, you had the lightning and the thunder, and it was raining hard, and we was on our way to our next destination. And after a while, you could see the rain slow up. You could see all the rain it was like everything had just breezed over, and I looked up, and you could see all the dark clouds. You know, you in a storm, you got these dark clouds, and it was almost as a line was drawn. Because right outside that line, it was bright, pretty, beautiful clouds. It was like a straight line. It wasn't like any break. It was like a line that was drawn. God said, said the border of the storm. He said you got to keep pushing and you got to keep going. You got to keep driving to get to that border of the storm, because there are brighter clouds at the end of the storm, at the rim of the storm, but you have to have faith in order to get there. Ecclesiastes 3 and 1 through 10. It says, to everything there is a season. I see some pages turning. Ecclesiastes 3, starting in the first verse, it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. What profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboureth? I have seen the travail which God hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. You can prosper, you can work all you want to, but if it's not that time for you to bear that fruit, for God's divine blessing to be on that time, you won't be fruitful unless God puts his divine blessing. Because it is a time and a place for every single thing for the glory of God. And a long time ago I was praying, and God gave me a saying, and I say it a lot when I pray. Sometimes I get the kids to say it, and it's out with the old, in with the new. God, I won't let go because I'm holding on to you. See, no matter what life the day brings and whatever life comes, because, some days you lose something, some days you gain some things, but no matter what it is, there's a time and a place for everything, and you have to be able to hold on to God's unchanging hand, no matter the season that you're in. But Ecclesiastes 3 and 1 says, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. And Psalms 1 and 3 says, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. There is purpose to everything that you go through in life, whether you know it or not. See, I went to school, and when I went to school, a lot of y'all know it was a little rocky getting there, and I didn't want to go. But God reassured me. He told me I had everything that I needed. So I went to school, and I made good grades, financially stuff was fine, and God kept me. It didn't give into the college world, the college temptations and stuff like that. But that was only by God's grace. It was only because of God. Amen. And when I went to college, I didn't have many friends, didn't fit in really, didn't want to try to make myself fit in. I didn't have mama around. I didn't have no midweek service I could go to on Wednesday night. I didn't have nobody there at 12 o'clock in the morning with my friend trying to get me to go to the parties I didn't want to go to. I was completely isolated. And I was completely isolated. I didn't have nothing that I was used to around. And at that point, I'm like, God, you told me to be here, but I do not understand what's going on. I was confused. And I would pray and ask God, Lord, what is my purpose here? And it took the isolation. It took having no one around for me to fully lean on God. For me to fully have my relationship with God become more personal. I didn't have mama around. I didn't have the people from church around. I had to lean on God to survive. I had to lean on God to make it through. See, sometimes we don't understand. But when I look back, I said, hey, I prayed more when I was in college. I fasted more when I was in college. I talked to God. And I had a friendship with God and a relationship with God that I didn't have when I wasn't in college. It was necessary. See, sometimes in your discomfort is where you have to find your comfort in God. It's where you have to grow. But Ecclesiastes 3 and 1 says that to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. You may not understand it now, but as Bishop said on Sunday, all things work together for the good of them that love God. See, you have to choose to trust God. We have to choose to trust God through it all. I was watching Karate Kid the other day. The old one, not the new one. And the Karate Kid, he had came to his master and he was like, I want you to train me, teach me Kung Fu. He was facing all these other kids that knew how to fight. And finally the master was like, okay, I'll train you. So the master starts the training for the kid. And he says, go paint this fence. And after a while, the Karate Kid, he's painting the fence. You gotta go upward and downward, just like that, all the way around. And the Karate Kid, he gets so frustrated and upset, like, ain't no purpose to this. How am I supposed to learn how to fight? How am I supposed to get and beat these people at the championship? You got me painting and doing your chores. You know, he was upset. But there's a song that says, hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. God's gonna trouble the water. And then Mother, she sung a song on Sunday. She said, if you can just hold out till tomorrow. If you just keep the faith through the night. If you can just hold out till tomorrow, everything will be alright. So hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. Hold on, just a little while longer. And everything will be alright. See, the Karate Kid, he didn't understand that there was purpose. That after the training was over, there was purpose in the training. See, stuff began to get redundant and repetitive for him. And he didn't understand because he put his own stipulations on the master's plan, on what the master was training. See, and sometimes we do the same thing. We put our stipulations on God of how he's going to train us and prepare us. But the Bible says that God is not given to the swift, nor is it given to the strong, but the one who will do it to the end. So sometimes when things become redundant or repetitive, it's God building our endurance to be able to deal with the end, to be able to deal with the storms that come with that next level that we desire. See, Luke 12:48 says, but he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. See, to whom much is given, much is required. You have to sometimes build that endurance to get to that next level. It may seem like you're praying over and over again, but you might need them few more prayers, as someone said before, in the storehouse to help you push along the way for that next level. Hebrews 10:23. It says, let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering. For he is faithful that promised us. In Luke chapter 15, starting at 11th verse, it talks about the prodigal son. And it's a very familiar story. The prodigal son, he went to his father and he asked for all of basically his inheritance. And after a while, the prodigal son, he left his father's house and went to a far country. And he wasted all of his substance and on riotous living. He wasted his substance on riotous living, and after a while there became a famine in the land. And the famine came in the land, and he had gotten to a point where he was so low and so poor that he was going to feed the swine of somebody else. He was eating the swine's food. And he came to himself. And it says in Luke 15, when he came to himself, in Luke 15:17, and when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? It took him coming to his lowest to see that what he had before was He says, and the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. And on Psalms 103, know ye that the Lord, he is good. He is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. For we are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. And God said, it's only through him that we shall prosper. Only through his way and his time that we shall prosper. We can't go ahead of him and trying to prosper in our own time, but it's only through when he gives us and when he makes that season that we'll be able to prosper.
Yeah. Amen.
Through it all, we have to choose to trust God. No matter the time, no matter the season, that in the season that you're in, when it's meant for you to prosper, when it's meant for you to grow, then that time shall be God's ordained time for you. In 1 Corinthians 2 and 9, it says, but as it is written, I have not seen, nor ear heard, neither enter into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. Y'all pray my strength in the Lord. Hallelujah.